Hi there, my name is Matty, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you 5 tips and tricks to find digital products that will actually sell on Etsy. If you don't know who I am, or if this is your first time watching my YouTube channel, I'm an absolute beginner on Etsy, but in my first month alone, I was able to hit around £373, or just under $500, strictly selling digital products online. And I'm using YouTube to share these tips and tricks and help others in succeeding in their online businesses. In me trying to be as completely open and transparent as possible, I would like to say that these are not the only tips and tricks I use when finding digital products to sell online. There is another tool that I use, but because it's a paid product and I want this video to be strictly on finding products for free, I won't be talking about it in this video. I do intend on making a video on this product, however, so if you are interested in finding out about this other tool that I use, please subscribe for that future video. So what we'll be doing today is market research, and that's basically using data to assess what sells well on Etsy, what customers are looking for, what customers are raving about, and what's actually driving sales to people's Etsy stores. Now, Etsy doesn't publicly give numerical data out available, and you will find that there are paid tools online, but these tools use their own personal algorithms to give estimates on these numbers. The only people that have access to all this numerical data is Etsy themselves, and they don't share this with anyone. But what you can do is use Etsy.com itself to actually assess what other people are using Etsy for. And from a seller's perspective, we can actually use these tools and data that Etsy provide us to give us ideas and ways to actually come up with products that we can sell to others on Etsy. So with that being said, let's jump into the video and show you these tips and tricks.
So here we are on the Etsy homepage. Now, the first trick I'd like to show you is actually using the search bar at the top. Now for this video, I'm going to be using resumes as my example, just because I think it's a pretty good niche in the sense that there's a lot of resumes you can create. You can create resumes towards specific groups of people. And I've even found recently a lot of small shops who have just started but already are making quite good sales on Etsy. So if I just start by typing resume template, you'll see that Etsy is automatically going to start suggesting me search terms that it thinks I might be interested in. From a customer point of view, this is obviously good because it's giving me ideas of what I might be interested in. But from a selling point of view, it's also good because it's giving me search terms that other customers are potentially looking for and might be interested in. So for example, I've got resume template Word, Google Docs, Men, ATS, Canva, etc. What you can do with this information, depending on the niche that you're in, is to create products and cater your products to these search terms. For example, we've got Word, Google Docs, and Canva. You might find in the niche that you're doing your research in, for example, resumes, that a lot of people are making resumes, but they might be catering their resume towards one specific piece of software, such as Word. Whereas what you can do is create a resume for all three. And then from there, you can either A, sell it as a bundle under one listing, or B, you can create 3 separate listings and upload that resume with a listing for Word, a listing for Google Docs, and a listing for Canva. So if you have one customer who's looking for a Google Docs resume, you know you're covered, whereas the competition might not be. And if you have another customer who might be looking for a Canva template, you're also covered again, whereas again, your competition might not be. Another example, you can see here, resume template with photo. People might be looking for resume templates that actually have a photo. Whereas if we do a search on Etsy, we'll find that a lot of the resumes don't actually have photos. We'll ignore the first 4 at the top because as you can see, it says add by Etsy seller, meaning they're actually paying to have their product at the top. But if we scroll down, we can see there's one there, there's one there, and there's another one. Oh, and there's another one there, but I think that looks very similar to the one up here. But you can see there isn't a lot in comparison to all of the other resumes that I've just scrolled through. All of the others don't have the ability to upload your photo. And there's people who might be wanting that. Another thing we can do with a search bar is actually just start typing random letters. So if I just type L, you can see lawyer comes up. So you can create a resume template for a lawyer. If I do N, it says resume template nurse, or alternatively, you have people looking for a resume template without a picture. I don't know, let's do W. We've got Word with photo, with picture, wording. These are different search terms that customers are actually looking up on Etsy, and you can base ideas off of this data. What I'm gonna do is show you the next trick, and that is sorting the listings by bestsellers. The way you can do this is by clicking on all filters, clicking on star seller, click apply. Now once the page refreshes, if you go to the top where it says star, and just change star to best. What it's going to do now, you'll see that it's marked as bestseller here. And what it's going to do is show you the best-selling products. Again, I'm going to ignore the first 4 at the top because they are ads. But if you scroll down, you can see all of these listings here are marked as bestseller, meaning they're the top selling products in this category. And what we can do from here is analyze these products. So I'm just going to open a couple of them. What we can do is look at the photos so we can see what they're actually selling. So they've got a 2-page version. There is a cover letter included. There's a reference included. It's easy to customize, that's fine. It's got 4 templates. What I'm looking to see is right, so it says edit the document on your Microsoft Word. Does it mention Microsoft Word in the title? Yeah, it mentions Word. If we scroll down to the description, we can see CV templates, resume, and Word. And that's good. It's obviously a great product, it's in demand. 3 people have bought it in the last 24 hours. But if you're someone who doesn't like using Microsoft Word, or you just don't use it and you prefer Google Docs or Canva or even Pages on a Mac, you're not going to buy this product because it doesn't solve the issue that you have, and that's having a resume for Google Docs or whatever the issue might be. So that's an example on where you could potentially improve on this product. It's good. I'm not saying to copy the actual design itself, but come up with your own resume template and then sell that on Google Docs, as well as Word, as well as Pages, as well as Canva. It might even be worth doing research, for example, in this niche, if there are other word editing programs that people might use, and create resumes for those as well. What I want to do is show you another feature that Etsy gives to show customers what other people are looking for, but you can use this information as data to come up with other ideas. I'm going to use another listing for this example, just to spice it up a bit. So we've got this one over here. If I scroll down, you can see there's more from the shop, which is fine. You may also like, it's giving you alternative suggestions. But what we want is this, explore related searches. So these are searches that other customers are looking for. So we've got creative resume, curriculum vitae, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, CV, minimalist resume, professional resume, executive resume, and even 2-page resume and clean resume. So this is giving you other search terms you can come up with. And we can click on, let's say, minimalist resume, for example. And it's just giving us other options, which we can come up with more ideas. So I'm just even going to click on this one, for example, and we can just scroll down again and explore more related searches. So Apple Pages resume has come up, ATS resume, simple resume, modern resume. It's a good place to actually come up with more keyword ideas and product ideas. And this is basically data that Etsy's giving you from customers that are actually active on Etsy and are looking for specific products. So the third trick I'm going to show you is actually doing a shop analysis. So rather than actually looking at individual listings, we're going to look at a shop itself and see what it's actually selling. You might not know this, but Etsy actually gives you the ability to see what products on a shop are actually being sold. The only downside to this is that shop owners are allowed to disable this feature if they want to. So I'm just going to click on maybe this one, for example, and just show you what I mean. If I scroll down to find the actual shop name, where is it? Oh, it's there. So if I click on the shop and I scroll down, you can see that they have a lot of sales, but this isn't underlined. What that means is you can't click on it, whereas if I can actually click on their admirers. What we want to do is we want to find a shop where they actually have this sales button still enabled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can quickly find a shop that has that. So here we are, I found a shop that actually hasn't hidden this information. So if you scroll down, you can see they've got 64 products available and 94,000 sales. But as you can see, this time it's actually underlined and I can click on it. So I'm going to click on it. So you can see that they not only have just generic resumes, but they've also got resumes that are catered towards specific groups of people. For example, a teacher resume, 12 people have this in their basket. An executive director resume, over 20 people have this in their basket. And we can continue to scroll down and see that this continues on. ATS friendly resume, 7 people, another one with over 20. And if we scroll down, there is a nursing template, which does seem to be a bestseller, but it doesn't mention that a lot of people have it in their basket. If we go to the next page, where you can see, oh, here's another one, nurse resume, 8 people have it in their basket. So what they're doing in their niche is creating general resumes to cater towards the everyday people. But what they're also doing is creating resumes to cater towards specific groups of people. And this is how you can create products for a specific niche. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the other page because the executive one had over 20 people have this in the basket. So I'm going to click on that. Let's have a quick look at the product. So if I scroll down, right, so right off the bat, you can see that they're talking about this resume being good for conservative industries such as executives, managers, engineers, lawyers, accountants, etc. This resume is being catered towards a specific group of people. If we compare this to the resumes we were looking at a minute ago, we can see that these resumes are catered towards a specific kind of people. The other resumes, don't get me wrong, they were very good and it was clear that people were still actively buying them, but it's more difficult for you as a beginner to get into that kind of niche where it's so open and varied, rather than a niche like this where you're catering for a specific kind of person. And we can see there's 12 views in the last 24 hours, so it's clearly a popular product. The next trick I'd like to show you is actually reading the reviews on Etsy products. Now, the reason I say this is because more often than not, people are more likely to complain than actually praise something. When people complain, it's because they're trying to get something out of it. So for example, they might be looking for compensation, they might be looking for a discount, they might be looking for a refund. But if you ask someone to give praise or compliment something, they're less likely to do it because subconsciously they consider it as a waste of their own time. They're not benefiting from doing that. They're giving something out of their day to benefit you, whereas complaining is potentially benefiting them. So it's good to have a look at the reviews and see if you can actually find any negative comments or critiques that people are saying. So what we're going to do is just scroll down and see if we can find a shop that has a slightly lower rating than the others. So we're currently at 4.9, 4.8, 4.8, 5, 4.6, that's a bit lower. Anything else? 4.9, 4.7, that's another one. So let's have a quick look at these products and more specifically the reviews. So here we go. I had the hardest time getting the image to work correctly on this. It came out blurry. The directions say to fix, you have to use Adobe Photoshop to change the image to a circle. I did that no matter what, it's still blurry. Area from Word version pasted into Google Docs because our version was more. I would not recommend this product. The Word doc versions have overlapping sections on the download too. So this is a perfect example. Clearly the person is not happy with the product. If I'm not mistaken, based on the review that they've written, yeah, so the resume is available for Word, Apple Pages. And I think based on that review, if they're mentioning Google Docs, I'm assuming that means the customer has gone out of their way to convert the document into a version that's compatible for Google Docs and then try to work on it on there. And we can actually see that 2 people have marked this review as being helpful. So having this publicly on your page isn't a good thing. And the reason for that is because it might deter other customers from purchasing it. What this person may have been able to do is create a Google Docs version, and it would have saved this customer the time and effort of having to do that themselves. This is another example where you, as a future seller on Etsy, can come in and actually do that work for them. So you can have this template available on Word, Apple Docs, and Google Docs. Test it yourself, make sure it works absolutely fine, and you can save not only your shop potentially getting a negative review like this, by having your template available on Microsoft Word, Google Docs, and Pages, the customer wouldn't have to convert the template into a Google Docs version, have all of this happen to them, and then feel dissatisfied with the product. So the 5th and final trick I'd like to show you, and this is probably one that I use very frequently, is to find new shops. And the reason for that is because if a shop is new in what some might think is an already saturated niche, but they're actually being able to sell fairly well, it means that they're either A, doing something differently, or B, doing something very, very well. And it's a good place to actually analyze, look at their products, look at their reviews if they've got any, and see what people are saying and how much of a demand there is for their products. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn off bestseller, because more often than not, if they're a new shop, they're less likely to be a bestseller. They could be, but more often than not, it isn't the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the X, and it's just going to repopulate the searches, but also show listings that aren't actually bestsellers. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for shops that don't have a high number of reviews. So it's this little number in the little brackets. So here's an example. It's a shop that has 12 reviews. So I'm going to click on this product and open it up. And you can see it's in 20 baskets. So a good thing you can do is actually populate the reviews, click on sort by and change it to most recent. And then what you can do is scroll down, go to the last page and see when their first review was. So on the day I'm recording this video, it's the 3rd of September and they got their first review on the 21st of August, meaning that this shop is fairly new. And what we can also do is go to their actual Etsy page and see when their last announcement was. Now, more often than not, new shops don't frequently post new announcements. I think it's more commonly used when you've got a bit of a following and people will actually see the announcements. But I think normally when people start their shop, they'll put an introductory announcement and then just leave it for a while. And their last updated announcement was the 15th of August, 2023. And they have 5 products up and 28 sales. And we can actually see what sales they've made. So we can see Modern HCS Friendly Resume Template is selling really well. It seems to be their highest selling product. You can see over 20 people have it in their basket. Oh, this is actually the product we were looking at. And people are very happy with this product. So we can actually look at this product and try and find out what exactly is the reason why it's selling very well. So we can have a look at the product photos and see if there's anything that mentions why people are buying it. In saying that, they actually don't have a lot of product photos, but it does seem to be selling very well. And it doesn't seem to be catered towards any specific kind of people. So you can see even in a very saturated market, you can make a shop. And if your product is good, people will actually find it and they will buy it. And the reviews are raving about this product. I couldn't be happy with my purchase. Using the template was a breeze. This template is your secret weapon. Incredibly impressed. So using this trick allows you to look into a niche that you're potentially considering working in and finding new shops. And if they're selling well, if your products are good, you also have the ability to do well in that niche.
So those are all the tips I have for you today. I hope you found these tips useful and you're able to implement them in your Etsy market research. As mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'll be making a separate video showing the paid tool that I use to conduct market research as well. So if you're interested in that, please do subscribe. With that being said, thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you in the next video.